Yo, I'm Bob. Into Masters of the Universe, going to be unboxing an action figure from the Origins toy line from Mattel. This is another of Skeletor's Evil Warriors, Tri-klops. Evil spy for Skeletor, that's what he's called in some forms of media. In others, he's a scientist, builds a lot of stuff for good old Keldor there in Snake Mountain, depending on, what form of media you like. I mean, he's very savvy, even though he can't see a thing. He's got that visor that he wears. So this isn't a cartoon collection action figure. I think he's probably just from the fan favorites line. So he's not going to come with anything specifically from the tune, the 80s tune. I think all he comes with is his sword. I really hope this is Tri-klops. It might turn out to be Trap Jaw, but I'm pretty sure I had these two separate, so I'd be able to tell the difference between them. All right. Ooh, yeah. There he is, all right. I could tell because of that visor. Alright, so here he is in his figure tray. Gonna pause the vid, break him out of his tray, and we'll have a closer look. Alright, here's Tri-klops out of the packaging. So he's all muscle, as most of Skeletor's Evil Warriors tend to be. So depending on, which origin story you like for him, I mean, I guess this could go any way. I like that in some, his visor here can actually see in all directions. Since, in some of the origin stories, he was a blind swordsman. I think that also varies depending on which one you prefer. But yeah, you can rotate this visor around. So he can use any of the eyes that he needs to. He has night vision. He's got distavision. He has gamma vision. So, he can see in the dark. He can see far distances from far distances. And he can also see through and around objects. So pretty good for a blind guy, I guess. Although he's, one of Skeletor's servants in the incarnation of Motu, where he was a swordsman and then got blinded. He just kind of starts working for Keldor due to Keldor's manipulations. Yeah, I like the sword he has. It's a massive sword. That's the only accessory he comes with. So you're probably able to remove his harness that he's wearing. To me, it looks more like a bit of shoulder armor, and that's about it. And if we turn him around, you can actually see his hair. I think it's kind of peeking out from the bottom of that visor there. So he was voiced in the 80s tune by Lou Scheimer, and then he was voiced by Paul Dobson in the Mike Young show. And I do believe he was voiced by Henry Rollins in Revelation from Netflix. I think I prefer the 2002 version because they did really add a lot of backstory for him. Although I think in the mini comics way back in the day, they did give, some pretty cool backstory for him too. I just love the idea of him being a very bitter, perhaps very jaded, blind individual that works for Skeletor. I think it really does speak volumes about Keldor's character to manipulate somebody and be like, oh, well, it's all so-and-so's fault. As to why you were blinded. Here, I made you this visor, and this is going to help you see this, that, and the other. You can fire optic blasts from each of these eyes. All you got to do is serve me. I'll take care of you. You know, you can build stuff for me. We'll have a ball. You know, it's just like Keldor to use somebody to his advantage. And I think Tri-klops was one of my favorite characters to begin with, but when I read about him, you know, in one of the incarnations, you know, actually being a blind person and actually giving into that anger and, you know, serving Keldor that way, I was like, oh, well, this guy's got layers here. That's pretty cool. I wish that we could get a 2002 version in the Origins toy line, because I really want one of those Doom Seekers that he was working on in the show. I think those were some of my favorite inventions of Tri-klops there in that incarnation. But, you know, this version, I think I give him a 10 out of 10 just because I like that you can rotate that visor. I wish it would lock into place when you rotated it, but, you know, it just kind of rotates all around. It's fine, though. It's not going to wobble around on you, and it's not loose to where it'll spin when you don't want it to or anything like that. So I like that he can, you know, use whichever eye he wants. I love the idea of him using optic blasts too, in addition to his sword. And I love that he comes with the sword, since, you know, in one incarnation he was a swordsman at one time. I would imagine he probably still uses it in all the incarnations, though. Hope I'm not forgetting anything about him. Just a really fun, fun character, and I love delving into the backstories of these guys, especially those who are kind of roped into serving Skeletor. 'Cause I think they each have their own motives, and it's kind of fun to see what they're up to whenever we get a peek inside Snake Mountain. I think one of my favorite bits was from of Machines and Men in the 2002 show, when all of Eternia's tech was on the fritz, and you had Tri-klops' visor not working right, so he was just kind of stumbling around his lab. He's like, I can't see anything, and he's kind of running into this and that and the other, which does make sense because, I mean, his visor doesn't work, and he kind of depends on it. So, yeah, it was one of my favorite scenes, just kind of having him knock stuff over. Anyway, till next time, guys.